Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. This will be a short lesson. Today's lesson will be touching on voting for these politicians, election 2020. Once again, the title of this lesson is voting. Voting for these politicians, election 2020. That way we clearly understand by what rules and what guidelines are we to follow when we choose to elect someone or put someone above us. So once again, brace yourselves, tighten up your jaws. Do not turn to the left or the right, or you will be hit in the mouth. We are to walk the straight and narrow way of the Most High's commandments. So now let's go into the Most High's word and see exactly what the criteria is when we decide to put anyone above us in any leadership role. And we will start off with this lesson in Deuteronomy chapter 17. Let's turn to Deuteronomy chapter 17, and we will start off with verse 14. And verse 14 of Deuteronomy chapter 17 reads, When thou art come unto the land which Yah thy strong one giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. So when the children of Israel, when we were delivered into the land, when we got into Canaan, we knew, or the Most High knew, that we would actually think upon ourselves to put a king over us. Now keep in mind that the Most High is our king. However, the other nations had kings who were men, and the house of Israel chose to do the same. This thing was a sin. So we rejected the Most High, who was our king, and we wanted to be like the other nations, to put a regular man, a human being, above us. Here is the criteria. Verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom Yah thy strong one shall choose. So if you're going to put a king above us, if you were going to have a king, a man, the Most High was going to choose this man. And these are the criteria. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king or governor over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. So, when we're dealing with voting in these elections, we know good and well that our people have been committed to the Democratic Party for quite some time and have voted in all manners of presidents, governors, senators, local leaders, etc. More often than not, those who are elected are not of the house of Israel. They are not of our brethren. And what we can bear witness to is anytime we go against these instructions, we can validate it has not worked out for us. So if we look over the history of voting in this nation, whenever the house of Israel has voted, we have voted for those who, number one, are not of our brethren. They're not Israelites. And therefore, nothing is ever done on our behalf. No laws are enacted to reinforce our protection, our civil rights, or to give us any justice of any sort. So, when we vote, we are to vote, and we are to put someone above us in a leadership role who, number one, is of our brethren. That's number one. But before we even do that, we are not to put anyone above us who is not walking after the laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts of the Most High Yah. So certainly we are not to vote in anyone or elect anyone or select anyone to be in a position to lead us that is not of our brother, that is not of the house of Israel. That's specifications right here. We're not to choose someone who the Most High did not choose. Therefore, whomever that person is going to be, he will have to be walking after the Most High's law. Now, this is specifically dealing with the governor in Israel, for us to choose a governor. But that is when, these are the stipulations for when we return to the land. Currently, we are in captivity in the midst of the nations, and they have elections, etc., in the many nations in which we dwell. This still holds true. We're not to vote for anyone or put anyone above us who are not of our brethren. And if we put a brethren of ours and he doesn't walk after the Most High's law, statutes, judgments, and precepts, he will fail us all the same. So, do not be caught up in the rhetoric and the political jabbing from one party to the next. It makes no difference. They're your enemies, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. You are in the midst of your enemies. And the faster we can understand that, the better. The Democrats will not restore that which was taken from us, neither will the Republicans restore that which was taken from us. They may tell you what they want, but they will not restore it. These are your enemies. So once again, when you vote, if you vote, you are not to put anyone or vote anyone that is not of your brethren to be leaders over you. And you're certainly not to vote for anyone that's not walking after the Most High's laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts. And we're not to vote for someone that the Most High has not chosen. And we will know who we choose is simply based on if they walk after his laws or not. Based on that criteria, an Israelite is actually walking after the Most High's law. He doesn't ever have to worry about casting a ballot because, number one, it's going to be his enemies running. He's not to put his enemies above him, so that cancels his vote right there. He's not going to go. He's to vote for a man of his brethren. We got a few of them out there that are of the house of Israel. However, they're not walking after law, statute, judgment, and precepts of the Most High. If you're not walking after the Most High's law, then you're walking in the ways of the heathen. So though the man may look like an Israelite, he may be an Israelite, his thinking is that of his enemies, and he will do his enemies' bidding. You may call them a sellout. Okay, so that is what we have in the nation of Israel. So be aware of all the rhetoric that's being tossed around back and forth between parties, and do not let political strife be the wedge within the house of Israel. Both of these parties mean our people absolutely no good. These are our enemies. So once again, be wary of when you cast a vote. Look at the criteria that was given to us, and if we go contrary to this, we're going to keep getting what we've been getting since the Voting Rights Act, which is 1965. We've been voting since then. And from then to now, no one that we have ever voted for has ever done anything that has been to our benefit. Our enemies will not do anything to our benefit. These are our enemies. And the faster we understand that, the better. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. The Most High is our great and exceeding reward. It is not money. It is not having status within these nations or anything else. We're to turn to the Most High. Once again, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Peace, Israel.